So everybody walked through the door, and this dude was sitting there butt naked in the chair, his dick in one hand and fifth of Jack in the other.
We're going to talk about this and other crazy office stories today on the Welcome Distraction with the Kemp Brothers.
This is the Welcome Distraction Podcast with the Kemp Brothers. Their immature stories, thoughts, and opinions are their own and should be taken with the same level of seriousness as a drunk uncle's late-night conspiracy theory. They are not responsible for any brain cells lost, friendships ruined, or questionable life choices made under their influence. Now buckle up, buttercups.
So there we were. It was an early Monday morning at work. And normally everyone shows up around 8 o'clock. And one guy didn't show up. And usually when somebody's running late, they usually text. You know, we got that kind of relationship where they just text and say, hey, man, I'm running a little bit late. And it's like, okay, hey, no rush, drive safe.
Bring some donuts.
Didn't get a text. Man, hope he's okay. 30 minutes goes by, still nothing. So I send him a text. Hey, man, hope you're okay. Let me know if you need anything. Nothing. So you start wondering, like, what's going on? You know, I hope he didn't get in an accident. You know, I hope he's not in the hospital. You know, as a younger guy, he still lived at home. You're thinking, like, man, I hope something didn't happen to his parents or something, you know. But you know, you try to give a call then. You know,
murder, suicide.
You know?
Sorry.
You escalate it from a text to a phone call. You know, all right, this is getting real. You know, I'm actually like down numbers now. No answer. Just goes to voicemail. Leave him a voicemail. Hey, man, you know, I'm just worried about you. Just let me know you're good. Now it's about an hour and a half. You know, this definitely isn't like him. And so we started going on with the rest of the day, and of course now people are coming up with all kinds of different scenarios. Like, oh man, you know, he might be dead. You know, like we're checking.
Half the day's gone by now, and nobody's heard from him.
We're like after lunch now, and we're like, man, you know, we're checking websites to see if there's any like major car accidents. Nothing. And so it gets close to the end of the day, and I'm sitting in my boss's office, and we're just kind of chatting. You know, we're throwing those scenarios out there, and you know, hoping everything's okay. The next thing I know, my boss's boss walks in and he says, hey, Nick, I need you to go lock down so-and-so's account now. And I'm like,
total lockdown.
And so the moment he said that, I don't think I got out of my boss's office and a couple other people heard it. They were Googling other stuff. And within 5 minutes, I hear somebody go, holy shit.
Holy shit.
You got to come see this.
Found it.
We got to win.
Waldo.
I go rushing over to my buddy's desk, and sure enough, he's got it pulled up, a mugshot. Like, boom.
Oh, that's why he couldn't call. He didn't want to use his phone call to call.
What do you do? Child pornography.
Oh
no.
Sick son of a bitch.
Pedo. So, to make matters even worse, start coordinating with HR, and they're like, yeah, we you know, because of where I work, you know, it's a mandatory that we have to let them know that they've been trespassed. They're not allowed to come back on the premises. We'll coordinate with you. You know, don't call us. We'll call you, kind of thing. And
we'll kill you. I mean, we'll call you.
I start thinking about the charges, and I'm like, his phone was probably confiscated. They said that they called and left a voicemail to let him know that he's been trespassed. I'm like, he's not getting that message. And so I tell my boss the next morning, hey, I'm going to wait out in the parking lot for him to show up in case he does decide to come in, to let him know. And I waited out there till like 8:30 and still no show. And I swear,
didn't show up again.
No more than 30 seconds after I walked into my office, he comes walking in behind me, and I was like, whoa. How'd you get in here?
I bet he was behind you. He's like, well, I thought I saw a kid behind you. I hurried up.
Well,
so you let the pedo sneak up behind you.
He's very good at what he did. So, for a little while. I mean, he got caught. So, and so I had to basically turn into the HR manager and inform him, hey, we know what happened.
You point him out. You're like,
you've been trespassed. Can't stay here. Got to go outside. I need your keys.
Hey, you guys give me this sick fuck. He made it into the office somehow. This guy out
Security.
Hey, don't go wandering around.
So I had to escort him out to his car.
On the way out here.
I made sure he walked in front of me, way ahead of me, way in front, and walked him out to his car, and that was the last time I ever saw him.
Wow.
Pretty crazy.
Oh, man. Well, let me preface my story by saying, if anybody, you followed this before, if you haven't, career Air Force guy, so my office stories, they tend to be a little bit different. But my office, it was still an actual office, but I was an active duty first sergeant. And a first sergeant's responsibility is you take care of the airmen in the unit. You see them at their highest highs and their lowest lows. Yeah. So you can imagine we have quite a variety of stories And this particular incident was a guy working weekend duty. He got called in for standby, working up on the flight line area in one of the squadrons. And to make it short, he didn't think anybody was going to be around. He decided he shouldn't be there. But since he had to come in, why not enjoy a little bit more? He got a fifth of Jack out. He started drinking it and drinking a little more. And it turns out he drank too much. He spilt it on himself. He threw up on himself. So he decided, hey, we happen to have a washer and dryer here within the squadron. Nobody's coming anytime soon because it's the middle of the night for this guy. And he just decides to strip naked, throw it all in the wash, and then proceeds to sit down, watch some TV, continue drinking, but whoopsies, he fell asleep.
Oh.
So now it's the next morning and regular day shift is coming in.
Oh my God.
And they open the door and this dude is sitting there with his dick in his hand in one, and he's got the fifth of Jack almost empty in the other, passed out, completely butt-ass naked. And you can picture the scene. He's in one of these old, dilapidated, crappy chairs under the fluorescent glare, just completely butt-ass naked. Everybody's like, what the hell is going on? You can imagine. So as the military goes, there was repercussions. You're not just getting fired. You're going to get in trouble, and there's going to be a lot that comes with that. And sure enough, a lot came with that. And, so rank responsibility, money. Yeah, good times. Good times.
Talk about a wake-up call, huh?
Hey, man, wake up. Wake up.
Man.
Yeah, turtle head poking.
Hey, you bring enough Jack for everybody?
So I'll go off Brett's story. Now, that reminds me of a story.
I bet it does.
I too used to be in the Air Force, so my office was, it was all to myself for the most part and everything, but we had a ton of people out there, and about one in particular individual we had. I started getting word that out on the shop floor, if you will, where he worked, he was starting to have issues communicating. Like they were thinking, hey, he might be having a stroke a little bit. He's stuttering a lot. He's slurring his words, but we were like,
does it smell like burnt hair?
It's like he can't be drinking. That can't be it. No, so we talked to him. And we get close to him. We're like, no, he just seemed like a really nervous individual.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, no,
he didn't smell.
We think he's okay. We're like giving him the smell. No, he smells okay.
Smells like shit, but he's not drunk.
Really quiet guy, right? He was very much an introvert. So he would come and go and whatnot, and then it seemed like, hey, he's not making it to the other formations and things of that nature. And then his speech got really bad. We're like, he has to be drinking. And this was over probably, I would say, a 2-week period. It got really bad where he was slurring all the time. And then somebody came up to me and they're like, I'm pretty sure he's been drinking. We're like, he can't be drinking. He operates a motorcycle or a crotch rocket. There's no way. And we're talking, this is like 7:30 in the morning.
I don't know if it's appropriate for you to be drinking here in front of the children.
And it is 10:30 in the morning.
Like there's no way this individual's, So we're like, well, we'll get right to the point. We ask him, hey, have you been, drinking? He's like, no, I'm not drinking. I'm fine. We're like, something is wrong with him. Either he has been drinking or he needs to get medical attention. He is having a stroke. So we're like, well,
2 weeks.
Hey, if you don't mind, then can we go out to your motorcycle and check, make sure, let's see you didn't have anything. You had some saddlebags on there, whatnot, and backpack. Hey, do you mind?
Beer bottles.
Do you mind looking through, just so we feel better? And, and so we go out there, and there was a little storage tank right by the fuel tank on the center of the bike, something of that nature. And he's like, no, everything is good. And he opens it up and outpours like 10 little mini vodka bottles. He's like, I've been drinking, and I've been doing it for quite a while. Not only had he been drinking the last couple of weeks, he's like, I've been like this for like a year.
Nobody knows.
It's obviously gotten way worse to this point. So he is, and then he couldn't stop. He's like, yeah, this is how I cope. I drink every day, all day long. It's like he was a functional alcoholic. So he got sent off on his way. He went to rehab, I think. He ended up having to find a new employment, not with us anymore. But I heard later, after he was out, he continued to partake in the middle of the day, driving a motorcycle, and he hit a curb and popped his head right on the curb and was knocked out. And one of the eyewitnesses said they thought he was dead. They life flighted him away through the helicopter to Pensacola, Florida, where he's at, and he had no insurance. He was unemployed, nothing.
Oh my God.
And he posted on social media because people were still friends with him. They showed him, here's my bill. He lived. Here's my bill for the life flight. Over $35,000.
Can you start a GoFundMe so I can get a drink? I mean, pay my bill.
Pay my bill. Yeah. So poor guy. I think he did get his life together somewhat. Okay. And I don't know where he's at now, but I wish him all the best. But crazy story.
I bet he's drunk. Well, I've got an Air Force story. It's not It doesn't include alcohol. At least I don't think it does.
No, okay.
During a deployment, we were working hard, refueling some transient aircraft, and so we had a 747 come in, and those require to be refueled underneath the wing. Well, it's not just reach up. You got to go get a platform that you have to climb up a ladder to get up it, get the hose up there. Yeah. So normally, my career field, we'd be the ones climbing the ladder with that big heavy hose over your shoulder. Well, this older crew chief, he was feeling all high and mighty and was like, I got this, Nick. And so he takes the hose from me. He climbs up the ladder. He goes up there. And those things don't always go right in. And so he's leaning back against the railing and trying to get it to
on it.
And we're just kind of like chit-chatting back and forth. There's a couple of us down on
You're like,
he's flying.
It's not going to be well.
And
oh, look, he's flying.
Out of nowhere, all of a sudden, it was like somebody dropped a mannequin. Like it's what it just seemed like. Just completely like lifeless. The guy did swan dive backwards off the platform, lands on his head. Blood just starts. It was like a scene out of a movie. Just blood going everywhere. And we just kind of stood there for a second. Like
That's the right reaction.
Like,
did you
what
hear
the hell
yell
just happened?
or anything? Was he like, ah?
No, like, nothing. Absolutely nothing. He was out.
Sack of potatoes.
And blood just slowly, pooling. And so this is when cell phones had just come out, and we had them on the flight line. That's how you got a hold of Mock. And we're like, hey, we need paramedics out here immediately. We just got a guy that fell. And so they send somebody out and they get him out of there. And
he's ruining my uniform. Hurry
up.
Heard
that he wound up not making it. So that was pretty crazy. Like, yeah, guy died. Yeah.
I did not know he died. I thought I heard this before.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think they medevaced him out of there, and he wound up not making it.
Oh, damn. Shit.
So,
free helicopter ride, and he died.
Yeah. So pretty crazy. It could have been me.
Crazy stories.
That's the craziest.
Well, as I said, so I used to have crazy stories too. So they usually started in the office, or at least when I was getting the information, I would be in the office. So one morning when I was working at a different unit, I had this OSI agent contact me, come in and said, hey, we'd like you to talk to this guy, and we have some information that's going to lead to us. Would you come with us to his house? So OSI, that's the equivalent to CSI, FBI. This is the Air Force's branch of their federal agents type stuff. So they all of a sudden want me to tag along, and I was like, I need some backstory here. He's like, well, this guy comes into our office this morning, and he says that his roommate is on some kind of drugs, and he doesn't want to go down for it because they were sharing a living facility. It was like 3 or 4 of these guys. And the guy that he was talking about was like the younger, last guy in kind of stuff. It was spring break, Panama City. It was right at that time frame. So this guy
was jealous.
Proceeds to tell this story to the OSI agent that says, my roommate is high on LSD. And I'm not going down for him. I barely even know this guy, and I'm not going to get in trouble for him. Well, that's not one of the drugs they typically test for, So he says, how do you know he's high on LSD? That's very specific. And he's like, well, this morning when we were trying to get ready for work, he says, I can't find my keys. And the roommate says, well, where did you leave them? Do you have any idea? And he's like, well, I can't find my keys because I'm so high on LSD right now. If I was looking at my keys, I wouldn't even know they were my keys. And he starts laughing about it. He's like, look, fuck that. I'm out of here. I'm going to get out of here. So, he didn't overtly tell him right then, but he decides to take off,
snuck
and
away,
talk to the OSI. And then that's how they involve me. And then they go get the information. And then they ask me, like, hey, we want you to approach him because, you're the first sergeant. So we get to open up. So we go by this guy's house.
They got you wearing
in
a
the
wire.
Driveway. Huh?
Are you like,
wire?
Is this thing on?
No.
Abracadabra! Abra!
No, I'm not wearing.
Trust
I'm
one, too.
just short of wearing a wire and stuff. They just want to bust him kind of in the act of the situation. So it's still like afternoon, early morning, So everybody's just kind of getting up. Those that are sleeping and not working. And this he's off work, but he's at home. And so we go past the house, and they say, that's it. That's his truck right there. So we go back, and there's multiple cars in the driveway, and the OSI agents go, okay, so they're going to stage. They start throwing on vests. It says OSI on the back, federal agent, and shit like that. And I'm like, you guys got me sitting shotgun right now.
Like, you're going to go first.
You don't need one. You're just going to stay back here. I was like, stay back here.
You're what we refer to as a bullet sponge.
Yeah, he's hanging out with other people.
That's a risk we're willing to take.
It's like, thank you for your service. So you're going to go approach the door, see if you can get him to come out, and then we'll answer some questions and then kind of go. That way we don't need a warrant.
Tell us if he's armed, too.
Does he have a gun?
I'll tell you what kind of bullets they are when he hits me. Yeah. And so we pull up, we start going to the drive, and then they're coming out. And all of a sudden, he's like, oh, that's them. So they pull in the vehicle to block his vehicle in the driveway so he can't get out. Well, he proceeds just to go ahead and nonchalantly step into his vehicle. And he's like, hey, I got to back out. He's yelling to these agents who haven't identified themselves yet. And they're like, freeze, stay right there. And then he just proceeds to back right into the vehicle I'm sitting in. And he plows right into the front end. And I'm like, what are we doing? And there's like 4 of the people in this car that have just squeezed in. And they're all like, scatter. So a couple of them start to walk off, and the agents come up there, and then they pull their weapons, and they start talking to him. And like, hey, what? And he is out of it. He doesn't know what's going on.
He's high on LSD.
Like, hey. And then, so he sees all of them. He doesn't know who they are. But then he locks eyes with me, and as they're putting handcuffs on him, he's like, fuck you, Sergeant Kemp. Oh, great. Now he's made me. And I'm the one that's taking him down now. As far as he knows, the information came. And I was like,
I'll be back.
Yeah. So sure enough, they tested the kid specifically because he identified that he had possibly taken that. And yeah, he came back positive for LSD. He enjoyed a spring break, and then he got kicked out of the military. So that was just a Tuesday morning for me, back in First Sergeant land.
That's crazy. So I got a story for you, and this one's going to be quick as I can make it. However, there's a couple of chapters to it. We'll get to that. Let's slow your roll. All right, so there I was at 2009 in Korea. This was my office. I just moved there, and my office was it was a material shop where we tracked everything coming in and out of the shop, parts, all that kind of stuff, new equipment, things of that nature. And I get a call telling me they want to do an audit, and I don't even know who they is. I'm like new and then boss, and so I get all our paperwork together. I go give it to these folks that are taking it for the audit. They take it. They call me a couple days later, and they're like, we need to talk to you about the paperwork. And I'm like, great. I just took over. I'm getting screwed with all the billing audits and everything corrupt that's been going on in this place before I got there. So I go down to the office, and they're actually going to pick me up in their car. I get in the car, and they're like, hey, we're with the Office of Special Investigations, OSI, and there's no audit. We're trying to talk to you because we believe the Korean counterpart that you've been dealing with over many years, which I've known from when I was there 10 years ago, that he may be doing some dirty stuff, basically taking bribes, solicitation for prostitution, harassing people, all this. And they want me to find out. So they want me to play ball and ask me to quietly
meet up with him in the back of a
kind of quietly squeeze him, tell him that he's not going to get the next contract, and see how he reacts. And so I say, no, I'm new here. I don't want to do this. I just want to, come to work, do my job, and
no means
move
no.
on. Yeah. And so after about a day or so, they called back and asked if, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll do it, whatnot. So I do it. And they give me instructions. They say, all right, come here, make a phone call. Oh, use our cell phone. They tap the cell phone. We call. I tell him that he's probably not going to get the next contract. He said he'll work with me, things of that nature. So he comes to visit me in my office. This is the Korean counterpart. We'll just call him Mr. Kim, just a random name.
That's racist, you son of a bitch.
All right. That was actually his name. All right. And so,
oh, great.
Then he comes to my office and says, we go downtown, and we take you out, see Korea, real Korea. He takes me downtown. No kidding. We're with a couple other coworkers. I was like, hey, don't ask any questions with me. You're fine. He comes up to me. Hey, I have trouble parking outside. Go outside. He's parked. He takes an envelope. No kidding. He takes it out of his jacket. slides it into my
Just
jacket.
like the movies,
Right.
huh?
And I'm like, oh my gosh. You know,
it's happening.
What is this? I can't believe what this is. And I take it out, you know, and in Korea they use won. And so he gave me hundreds of thousands of won, which is basically like $1,000 or something of that nature, whatever it converts into now. It wasn't a lot of money. It just sounded like, but it was money. And it was for taking care of the people while we're out. Right. And so I did that. I spent some of it because he was still there. You know, hey, let me buy a couple drinks.
You had to make it look good, right?
Yeah, I don't want to sell it because this guy had been known to have some connections around there. I don't know if he was the Korean godfather or anything, but I'm going to find
Korean
out.
Mafia.
I just knew when people walked around him, they bowed, you know, and was like, oh, okay.
So you
All right.
did it
He's
on
like, you
hook
with
or
me,
blow.
you know? And so, and when we went to restaurants, you know, people ate on the first floor, most people. Second people, like VIP or second floor. Third floor, nobody else went up there, but we had our own room and our own waitress and everything. So yeah, he was definitely somebody. So I tell this to OSI and I give him what was left of the money. And they're like, what are you doing? Don't spend that. That's evidence. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, don't do that. Here, spend this money. And they give me their money, like American, $500 more in cash. I was like, oh my gosh. So this went on for a couple months. They're like, all right, we think we have enough, but we need to go bigger. We need you to get him to buy you a car. What?
Hell yeah.
They're like, yes, we have authorization from Hawaii. They're going to bring a team in and we're going to bug your room. You're going to wear a wire, put cameras in, and we're going to set up a little bit of a sting operation.
Hey, we're trying to conduct this investigation. You keep jerking off.
Getting
You're
weird,
making
man.
all those sounds.
And so
Trying to get this investigation done.
So you mean I have to stop what I'm doing? So they're going to
Yeah,
use
hold
my
on.
dorm room where I live. And I told this guy that we'll call Mr. Kim again, that I had located a vehicle I would like to purchase. And he's like, oh, how much? And I think I told him it was like 500,000 won. And he's like, okay, I got you. I got you covered. And so he comes to, they have the vehicle stage. The team comes in for Hawaii. They set up this cardboard box on my bed. I'm wearing a little wire.
God.
There's one in the vent below. And then they're going over procedure. They're telling me, they're like, all right, when he gives you the money, we got to get it in camera. Step back and fan the money out so the cameras can see it. And I'm
all
like,
this money. He
okay.
just gave
And I'm
me
like,
Mr.
oh my
Kim.
gosh. And so it goes down. We buy this Galloper 2. It's actually a model. You can look it up. Vehicle, an SUV. I buy it, you know, and he gives me all the money. I do my thing.
Then
I'm
he
like,
went down.
I'm like looking at the camera, you know, and he's like, oh, good deal, you know. And then he leaves. All right. And then like another month goes by. You know, they got all the footage they needed. I don't hear nothing from nobody. They go back to Hawaii, and then all of a sudden one day, and this Korean counterpart, he has an office down on the other end of the building, long building. And then my boss comes in one morning, and he opens the door.
Nobody else knows anything.
Nobody knows anything. This is probably now 6 months later.
And has he disappeared, the counterpart?
So the Korean counterpart disappears one morning, and my boss comes in, and he goes into like a superintendent's office. There's 3 of us. He opens the door. He closes the door real quick. He's like, what happened to Mr. Kim? Does anybody know? And I was like, and I already had a prepared statement I was told to say.
I was told I could kill him.
I was like, sir, if you need any more information, you have to talk to the commander and the Operations Special Investigations. They're well aware of what's going on. And that's all I can tell you at this time. And he's like, who the fuck are you? And what are you doing here? And I was like, that's all I can say. And he just left. Right. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, now he thinks I'm a spy or some crazy crap. So this individual did he got arrested. He got 10 years banned off of the installation. Even a year later, after I was getting ready to leave, I was having to go downtown and talk to these people and back up my statement because now they're getting ready to go to court with him. And so now they're trying to cross-examine me. And I'm like, I know what I saw. But I mean, it was deep. We went to shops. He kept giving me money after money. He gave me probably tens of thousands of actual dollars, bought me a car. So that was the craziest office story. I tell this people now, and they're like, no way, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, so fast forward 10 years later, I got orders back to that same base in 2018-19. And
sorry, brother.
Look, we're identical twins. They thought I was joking, but I knew most of this story. But I was worried, you know, if this Korean mafia type stuff that was still off base, they might see me and think, there he is, he came back.
So good now, quid pro quo. Do what you bag.
Yeah. So the story is I was told they said, no, they made me look like I was doing wrong as well and like I was arrested. And so as far as he knew, what I was told was that I went down as well with him. But I didn't.
Then I'm back. You're back. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So luckily I survived.
You trying to
job.
fuck on me?
Yeah. So Nicholas, you got one, don't you? You've got one that was with the missus, right? How'd that one play out?
Yeah. So this was about 10 years ago, I guess. Man, everything 10 years
It's
ago.
been that long? Holy shit.
Yeah.
We need some more action. I mean, what?
It might have been more than 10 years ago. So
Tomorrow, everybody's going to go to work and shit's going to go down.
We got news stories part 2, office stories.
my wife works at a government job, and she went into work one morning and her boss was not there. And so didn't think much of it.
Are these like typical office building setup kind of thing?
Yeah, just regular
Offices,
office
cubicle?
building where, normally
Like
you're
Bob's
walking
not
by
in his
each other's
cubicle.
cubicles saying hi. And, the boss swings in. He's like, hey, how's it going? And they have meetings, every few days. And so she goes in and boss isn't there. But word starts getting around. Something went down the day before. Huh.
Bet it did.
I'm be honest, people starting to talk. And so it turns out her boss was into extracurricular activities.
Oh, do
And
tell.
You
Like
mean like
to
basketball
go-
weaving?
Yeah, so he weaved. He would weave his way into dressing rooms in department stores, and so this particular event, he made his way into a Target, and so he would go all out. He would put on
fancy.
he put on a red polo, so it looked like he was an employee.
No
And
way.
I guess
He was
Tarzan,
undercover
fancy.
too.
This woman was in a changing room, and she saw something weird, which looked like a wire or something
But
moving,
it was dick.
and she went to grab it, and she got a hold of it, and it was a camera.
Give me this.
And so she immediately
camera.
knew what was going on, went outside her changing room, and went the next changing room that she knew it was coming from, and started screaming. She's holding the camera, and she's keeping the door shut, and she's screaming for someone to come in there. And so somebody finally comes, and he comes out, and he, I don't
was
know,
the dude watching.
So, I don't know what he tried to say, but he tried to claim that he was an employee there, and they
So
wanted to
was he
detain
like,
him.
just hold on, let me put my dick back in my pants?
Running away with his belt jingling.
So they wind up detaining him, and yeah, sure as shit, that was his camera, and he's sitting there recording women changing. But the plot thickens.
There's more.
Turns out that the woman that he was recording was the daughter of one of his employees that my wife works with.
Was that like just a hell of a
Damn.
coincidence?
He claimed that it was just a coincidence, but they had other evidence that showed that he'd been stalking her.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
Lord.
Yep.
What?
Damn.
And she just happened to go to Target and was shopping, and then
He just happened to have a red vest to put on.
just happened to have camera and his dick in his hand. Oh.
Was this guy married as well?
This guy was married, had kids.
Jesus.
He was a GS 12 or 13, I think. Yeah, and it's hard to get fired from where he was working, and
That'll
he
probably do
figured it
it.
out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Holy crap!
Where's he work now? You say Target, so help me. System's broke.
I can't go into a Target without thinking about it. I mean, I'm not thinking about going into the changing room with a camera or anything. But
Oh my god! Wow.
Yeah, leave
we
your
were
cameras
using
at home,
this
buddy.
Jeez, crazy.
Man.
Well, I can tell a couple other stories, but one that I guess was weird and unique in its own. I worked in an area where if you got disqualified from the job you were in the military, you got more office work. So I worked in an office environment, as was the nature of what I was doing, and this person got medically DQ'd from being an air traffic controller, and that happens all the time because it's very stringent, stressful, and you have to have particular, qualifications and clearances. Good. So he got bumped from doing that, and then a step down from that, all of a sudden he popped hot on a piss test for methamphetamine. So, well, in the military, you do your time, and sometimes there are reasons people pop hot, and they beat the charge, whatever, but you still take care of them. You treat them as well as you can with anybody else. They have their, due process and their time, and you take care of them, no matter what it is.
Right.
So
Right.
anyway, I've seen way worse. He popped hot on a drug test, and now he's assigned to working in the office area where we're at. So I'll hit just the highlights, but fast forward about 6 months later, maybe not even that, I get a phone call. I have to drag my kids out of movie theater because my wife's deployed. But they say this member is in the middle of a Walmart parking lot in the middle of the day. My boss had given me the day off. I had taken my kids to see a Pixar movie, and they said this guy is in a Walmart parking lot in an undercover car. He is trying to buy meth from an undercover cop with his 1-year-old daughter in a car seat in this car right now. You got to get here. We're going to detain him. You got to be, oh my gosh. So you can imagine how I have to run around and hand off my children's real quick so I can go get to this moron, and he gets arrested. He goes into jail. He doesn't make bail for the weekend. Somehow they release him on his own recognizance. A couple days later, I go talk to this guy, and there was another situation that I was like, hey, remember that $200 that went missing? I'm talking to him right after he's gotten out of jail and he's going to go home. I was like, remember that $200 that went missing from the snack bar like 2 weeks ago and we could not find it anywhere? There was a metal money can box that we had a little snack bar in the office, and the secretary was freaking out because could not find this money, and she was in charge of it.
She's going down.
$200 have gone missing. And then I was like, hey, when they put you in lockup, you had all this cash and $1 bills on you. Did you take that money? And I point blank had asked him about a week earlier, and he's like, no, Sergeant Kemp, I would not, All right, man, take you for your word. And then I asked him as he's stepping out of jail, and I was like, did you take that money? And he's like, man, I got a fucking problem. I'm addicted to drugs and alcohol, and I'm so sorry. I just didn't know what to tell you. And I was like, guy, and liar, I gave you a chance to come clean. I got a problem, man. I'm sorry. And he was just like, hey, Joe Rogan, anymore. And it was just ridiculous. He was such a moron. This played out for almost 2 years where this whole thing played out, and ended up getting him discharged and everything. There was a lot more that went into it, but that's not something that you would expect going into work or even off duty. And all of a sudden you get these phone calls. People are crazy, and a lot of them are stupid. And that's where we came in to these stories.
Yeah. One of my first days on the job as a first sergeant. So I just got back from academy. I literally had not even gotten moved all the way to my office, and I get this airman first class walks into my office. So he starts to explain to me that he's been holding something in that he hasn't been able to talk about for a while because he's been under a court order that he wasn't allowed to talk about an investigation that was going on. But now it's over, and he wanted to explain his side because apparently before I got there, he was a shitbag airman, and he wanted to justify what some of the issues were that he couldn't talk about before. Apparently, his wife was also in the military, but she was involved in a prostitute ring.
Oh,
and I'm looking around.
It's her number. I'm going to talk to her right now.
Is this like DoorDash?
Where are the fucking cameras at? Like, am I being pranked? Is this like my hazing? Like, are all the other first sergeants in on this? Like, they threw this guy in here.
Day one, we're going to hit him with the old prostitution spouse gig.
And so he says, and the investigation's over, and so she's been demoted, and she's got to serve a little bit of time, but I'm going through some problems here still, sir, because you see she's we just found out that she's pregnant, and I'm not sure if it's mine. Well,
that's a
you
good
just said she's a prostitute, so I'm gonna put my money on that's not yours. But again, I'm looking around. I'm like, this can't be real. Like, this is my first day. Like, is this gonna be like an everyday occurrence? Am I gonna get shit like this?
Yes.
This is crazy.
Yes, it will.
So yeah, that was my first day on the job as a first sergeant.
Yeah,
Good
welcome.
times.
Welcome. Yeah, good times.
I think I have one, but it's long again.
Yeah, save it for part two.
It's the old tool guy that ended up having a man pawn up his butt.
I don't know that.
It's a doozy. We'll save that for part 2. Tune in.
I've got a couple more good ones too. Involved some moron being a meth head in base housing, and the house was an absolute horror. But yeah, we'll save that for another time.
Well, we've got a ton more crazy work stories that we could talk about. We're going to save that for a future welcome distraction. So for the Kemp Brothers, I'm Nick.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Brett.
Thanks for tuning in.